Well, Novak Djokovic has got his first victory since this disaster in Italy happened. Assassination attempt on Novak Djokovic only a few weeks ago. You can see right there, it happens quick, so watch it again. The water bottle slips out of a fan's backpack, and even in today's match, when Djoker was serving, you could still see the hole it made in his head right there. You can see, or at least the hole it made in his hair helmet. I suffered something similar when a fan was trying to get an autograph from me. So I know exactly what Novak is going through. As you can see in that footage, I've been through the exact same thing as Novak Djokovic. The bottle that hit me was plastic and perhaps not full. Believe it or not today, despite Novak Djokovic's victory and pretty outstanding play for the most part today, there was another assassination attempt on Novak Djokovic, but it comes from where you would least expect it. The umpires are now, we feared this would happen in tennis. We feared it would happen. Many of us have warned that it could happen. We feared that the players would become AI, more machine than human, but now they're doing it to the umpire. Just watch this exchange between, I don't want to get banned by the French Fédération de Tennis. So we're going to use a lot of stills here and be sparing with video clips from the French Open if we can. But look at this exchange where Novak Djokovic is suggesting a good idea of how to use the towels system, the box towel system, to make it color-coded to match their outfits, to make it easier for everyone. But this umpire not only does deny him no, but you can spot in the clip that he is not 100% human. He is part AI cyborg.
The blue, please, for your towels. Besides that, any questions? Orange, yes, please.
Isn't it more logical that he's blue and not?
Well, it goes by the towels on the...
Okay.
Yeah.
Just because of the cloth.
Whatever you guys want. Okay. Anyways, anything else, guys?
Djokovic using laughter and jokes to de-escalate.
Player?
Now take a look at this. See that device? That is an AI hookup. He is a partial computer person.
Ball, player.
And in a moment, you will see his view.
So player and then ball. Which one? This one. Okay. Ball, player. Ball is the call. Go ahead. It is ball.
Sir?
Welcome to the Coffee Break Tennis Podcast. We are live from the road. Novak Djokovic comes through with a victory today and avoids narrowly an assassination attempt by the AI. I tell you, man, they can't introduce AI to sports like this. It's a terrible idea. And the fact that the French Open is doing it with the chair umpires, outrageous. Novak Djokovic did look good indeed today. Let's see an arrow of perfection. We can show these because it's from...
That's too good.
Oof, that's too good. It's from the Eurosport Instagram account. It's just an Instagram.
To perfection.
No copyright issues here.
Djokovic breaks
No need to remove
2-1.
our video. It didn't need to be perfect today. Novak Djokovic, the way things have been going with his year, he just really needed to get the W, and Pierre-Hugues Herbert has been away from the game for a while. We heard from Monfils that Amelie Mauresmo had to kind of talk to him and pump him up a little, say like, hey, you can do this, you're going to have a big... It's kind of shocking to hear that Monfils needed to be approached this way, but Mauresmo kind of inspired him to get ready for a big night match and put on a show, not have a disappointing stinker of a match in the opening night match. So maybe Amelie Mauresmo, who's French, had a talk with Pierre-Hugues Herbert because he played really well, actually. So that was exactly what Djokovic needed, a guy who probably can't elevate the game, especially with him being out for a while. He's on the comeback trail like Rafa. He's got something in common with Rafa. A really bad first round draw at probably his favorite tournament, being a French guy. Anyways, Pierre-Hugues, I keep forgetting his name. That's how long he's been gone. Pierre-Hugues Herbert played well, probably couldn't, no matter what he did, really threaten the Joker, but played well enough to work the Joker and make him have to find form. Here's an example of that. Here's a point that had a little bit of everything. And this is exactly what you need when you're a great player, you're having a bad year, you're trying to find the form. There's nothing better than these early rounds at a major when you have players who really shouldn't be able to beat you, even if they play pretty well for their standard. Serve was good too, I should point out. I love how right away on that return, let's roll it back actually. On that return, you can see how this is a good return, and Pierre-Hugues Herbert, let's just call him Pierre. Our friend Pierre, mon frère Pierre, he was doing a lot of like coming into the net. He can have an attacking game. That was obviously the game plan, was to come out and be aggressive. And so on this return, it's a pretty aggressive return, and he has a chance to maybe come into net. And Djokovic right away hits a big ball to push him back and kind of get to even in the point, something Djokovic is so good at. And you see he hits that return and gets inside the baseline and kind of hangs around just a little to see what Djokovic is going to do. And Djokovic hits a good enough ball that he can't move in. And then we get in this nice long forehand to backhand rally. This is what you want to do. Nice offensive reset up the line. Running them everywhere. Going backhand to backhand. Perfect time for the dropper.
That's a tremendous. Yep.
Oh, it's
Well
tremendous
deserved.
and stupendous. Take a look at this. Novak Djokovic did a really good job today at making the first ball a forehand, the serve +1. This is a big part of professional tennis now. I think years ago maybe people would have said, well, Djokovic's backhand is better than his forehand, but I think when he started working with Craig O'Shaughnessy, he's a data analytics kind of tennis nerd, super nerd guy. He basically said, hey, if you look at the numbers, Novak, you win more when you're hitting forehands, no matter how good your backhand is. So even the Djoker had to structure his service games around this whole idea. Is your serve is setting up your forehand to attack right away. Anyways, Djokovic did a great job with that today, 86% attacking on the forehand. And I would say he's very happy about this match. And what I've been thinking going into this tournament is basically what Tim Henman says here. Put it on the screen from Tennis 365. Tim the Henman delivers Novak Djokovic verdict ahead of the Serbs French Open title defense. So before Djoker even stepped to the court, Henman voiced this opinion. He says he's not worried about Novak Djokovic's form in 2024. He thinks we will see a totally different version of the tennis great. And I love this line. Pop this one up. Tim Henman, a 6-time Grand Slam semifinalist. He played down concerns over Djokovic heading into the second major of the season. This is a classic case, he says, of form is temporary, class is permanent. Within his experience, Djokovic doesn't need to worry about what's gone on in the last 4 or 5 months. He can just focus on his first round match. Well, that does go against what Novak Djokovic just said the other day was, quote, I'm very worried, or I'm very concerned. But let's continue. Tim Henman's not concerned, so maybe that'll comfort Novak Djokovic. This can click for him in the space of a couple sets. He loves the challenge of dealing with adversity when he's the enemy with the crowd against him. That's when his focus, his concentration is even greater. I don't buy into any of the stats coming into this tournament for Djokovic. He knows what it takes better than anyone to win Grand Slams, and if he can get through the first couple of matches, he's still one of the favorites. Quote, at this stage of his career, with what he's achieved, it's all about the slams. Yes, there are all these other events. There are some big tournaments, but it's just about him keeping things ticking over. He continued, he has the experience, even though he hasn't played well this year. I don't sense any panic. He knows what he has to do. He's going to be super focused to come out tomorrow and execute his game plan. There are times when he's been distracted on court this year, but I think we'll see a different Novak Djokovic. I wouldn't be surprised if he really starts to build momentum early in the tournament. And just on that, and that was my big takeaway in some of these losses we've seen from Djokovic, is that it looks like a mental thing. It looks like he doesn't have his full focus more than anything else. And I think that's basically what Tim the Henman is saying here. There are times when he's been distracted on the court this year, he said, but I think we'll see a totally different Novak. Yeah, I think we're going to see a different Novak Djokovic. I can't remember. At the Australian Open, there was some word that I think even Goran Ivanisevic, Djokovic's coach then, not now, had said something along the lines of Djokovic had came into the tournament with a small injury, or he was feeling sick, or something like. I can't even remember now. It was half a year ago almost. Anyways, a couple more things here from Tim Henman. I'm not concerned about his form, honestly, because when you are saving energy and focused on the next event, you don't need to worry. He's been pretty much doing what he wanted. I don't see Novak suffering or fighting the same when he's playing important tournaments like Masters 1000s. But now when he gets in the Roland Garros, Wimbledon, the Olympics, US Open, he knows he has to give everything. That's why for sure his form might go in crescendo in this turn. Nice word there, Tim Henman. He might need to do some suffering. Bottom line from 10 to the Henman, I believe we're going to see a good version of Novak. I would be very surprised if Novak doesn't reach at least the semifinals. And if he gets to the semifinals, it's very likely he'll see Zverev, maybe Medvedev, maybe Karen Khachanov. All three guys that, I mean, if Djoker gets to the semis, he's going to be playing so much better than we've seen him play all year, or at least as well as he was playing at the Australian Open, which wasn't terrible. He went pretty far there. And he's not going to have to play center this time. He's going to have to play someone like Zverev, which I think is winnable for Djokovic, even if he can't get to 100%. Although it'll be tough. I mean, Zverev is having a great year. Moving on, that's enough about Djokovic. I fully agree with Tim Henman. And the draw is good. Roberto Carballes Baena, they have a 2-0 head-to-head there. Djokovic has won both meetings with Roberto Carballes Baena. He will be the next match for Djokovic. He's good on clay. He has not had a good year on the clay this year, Carballes Baena. But should be just good enough, kind of like in this match, to challenge the Joker and let the Joker work through his game, find his form. I see no issues up until maybe Tommy Paul. Tommy Paul could be a challenge, but by then, that's fourth round, I believe. Djokovic will be playing much better. Take a listen to this. No jokes here. This was said by the commentator on Tennis Channel Plus, or whatever it's called, about the umpire. He's not actually a robot. That's just so we can see the line calls, the camera that they. I say it like some people believe me. He's wearing a camera on his ear. It looks like one of those hideous Bluetooth ear speaker things, but it's much bigger, so it's more ugly looking. He's wearing a camera, so when he goes to check the mark on clay, we can see what he sees. So far, I haven't seen it used in that way. I've just seen him looking at the players on the coin toss. Anyways, listen to this.
Novak Djokovic. Asseyez-vous rapidement, s'il vous plaît. Merci beaucoup.
S'il vous plaît.
All the umpires have to learn a few basic phrases in the home language. It's fair to say that French doesn't come easily to Greg Allensworth.
Wow. I was caught off guard by that. That's great commentary. One last little clip I want to show you. Another Baby Rafa sighting at Roland Garros. I love Baby Rafa, but this medicine ball, I know most people probably like this, but I'm a little worried for Baby Rafa because this looks like a medicine ball drill that we see tennis players do a lot. Check out Rafa working on his backhand, using Baby Rafa as the medicine ball. He looked a little unsure at first. I'm sure you've seen it. Sometimes, they throw the medicine ball and a forehand or a backhand stroke against the wall or to a hitting partner or somebody. But then sometimes you see players just hold on to it. They don't let go. They just kind of swing it forwards and bring it back and swing it again. And that was oddly very similar to the backhand medicine ball drill that we saw there with Baby Rafa. I was a little bit worried for Baby Rafa. But Rafa's a tennis expert, so it should be fine. It's not exactly Michael Jackson holding baby Michael Jackson over the railing, if you remember that. Was that in France, too? That might have actually been in Paris. I don't know. That happened like 20 years ago. That happened before Rafa was a Grand Slam champion. That's how long ago that was. Anyways, let's go look at the draw and see the latest results. Not too many more results. We just finished up the first round. But let's take a look here. So in Novak Djokovic's quarter, I've picked it perfectly. Carballes Baena wins over Lestien. And Monfils, powered by the French crowd, comes through what could have been a tricky match. But man, there's nothing like the French crowd. They really they can have a strong effect on the matches. It's pretty amazing. Musetti came through. I have Musetti in my draw to come through, but I would not be surprised at all to see Monfils. I'd love to see Monfils win. It'd be great to see. This is like a farewell to the old guy tournament. It feels like we saw Murray and Wawrinka play. We've seen Rafa, unfortunately lose very early. And it would be nice to see Monfils and Djokovic. I think Djokovic has like a 20-0 head-to-head against Monfils. But it'd be nice to see those guys play a big match. And that could be interesting to see if Djokovic was struggling and Monfils was playing great and the crowd was going wild and upsetting Djokovic. It'd be interesting to see how Djokovic reacts. I know usually he reacts well, but it'd be interesting to see that. Since I don't think there was any bottom half draw matches today, so it's all top half today. So we'll just go through the top half only. Cerundolo, Yannick Hanfman could have been a little tricky, and Cerundolo comes through 6-3, 6-3, 6-4, so that's pretty good. I picked this guy, and I can't even remember why I picked this qualifier, but he was supposed to play someone else originally. I think it was O'Connell, who has been struggling. I think he had an injury recently, so I figured no chance that guy beats. Instead, we get a lucky loser. He pulls out, and Misolic, I think he's from Österreich. I think he's an Austrian guy. I'm embarrassed. I can't remember what that flag is. Maybe that's Austrian? Okay, now I got to know. Click him. Where's the information? Okay, it's an Austrian flag. Filip Misolic. Anyway, so this Austrian qualifier, who's been winning some matches recently, obviously through qualies, but I think when I looked him up, he'd had some results maybe in, there was a couple tournaments. One was in Turin. There was a challenger on clay in Turin, Italy, where the World Tour finals are recently. Maybe it was there. There was another tournament. I saw some guys playing in the north of France in Lille. And maybe that's where I noticed he was getting some wins in the Challenger Tour on clay. Comes through qualifying. So sometimes these qualifiers can be kind of on a hot streak for them, but Cerundolo should be able to crunch this guy. Fognini, that was a bad pick on my part. Now he's got Tommy Paul. I don't see how Fognini's going to beat Tommy Paul, but that'll be an interesting match. It's worth watching. And another one of these matches with some old guys to celebrate. Taylor Fritz drops the first set and handles it pretty easy after that, 6-1, 6-2, 6-1. Lajovic, that was the other day, came through. Kokkinakis, I knew this was going to be a 5-set match with Popyrin. You just know they're probably good friends. They probably practice together. They're about the same age. They're both Aussies. We know Kokkinakis and Kyrgios are good friends. I wasn't sure about with Popyrin, but I'm sure they've played a lot of practice matches against each other. And Kokkinakis leads in the head-to-head, so I figured they know each other's games well. They're going to be more relaxed. Whoever leads in the head-to-head is probably going to be the guy who wins it, even though neither one of them has been having a great year. And Kokkinakis barely comes through in 5. I don't know much about this Zeppieri guy, but I did pick him to come through because Mannarino has not been doing well in clay at all, even though he is French. Maybe that helped him get the first set. I didn't see that one, but I still like Kokkinakis' chance to come through here. But like I said, qualifiers can be tough, so wouldn't be surprised either way with that. Looking good for Taylor Fritz here to get through and meet Djokovic. Would he meet Djokovic? Excuse me, he would not meet Djokovic. He could, but most likely he'll be meeting Casper Ruud in the 4th round, probably as far as he goes. Cazzo, I wanted to pick Cazzo. He had a good run. What did he make? A quarterfinal at the Australian Open this year. He passed out on the court in Miami. Then he had an ankle injury not too long after that. So I didn't think he'd be able to win. He hasn't been able to practice much. Nice to see that he got a set. Probably some help from the French crowd. It definitely looked that way. I saw a good bit of the 2nd and 3rd set in this match. And they were, the crowd was trying to get him back into the match. But Echeverry's been good. No surprise there. Rinder Kaneshi, a French player who's pretty good on the clay. I could see that match going either way, but this is Casper Ruud's section, and he will take out Taylor Fritz. And then Zverev will play tomorrow. We'll get to see how Zverev follows up. I thought this Pesci Perica, I think he's a cousin of Mbappe, Pesci Perica. Not really. He's a wild card, won in Lyon, almost pulled it off. Looked good in the first set, playing very aggressive, just like he did in Lyon. He's got a one-handed backhand. I like his game, young French guy. Would have liked to see him win, but good for David Goffin, who must have felt weird because he's from Belgium and he speaks French, and he's had a lot of support in the past from the French crowd, but not when he plays a French guy, a young up-and-coming talent too. So I wonder how maybe it helped him focus. It might have been a little weird for him at first. Usually he gets some love, and this time they were against him. Anyways, he'll be against it tomorrow playing Sasha Zverev. I expect Zverev to come through there pretty easy, straight sets. Talon Griekspoor dropped a set but comes through. He is tough to beat. And I like him to get to the third round and give Zverev a tough match. But Zverev, I think, will win there as well. Kachanov comes through. I like Holger Rune today. I thought looked pretty good, actually. Medvedev has had some good results this year, and so has Cobolli, the Italian guy. Holger Rune, Kachanov. That'll be a good match to see. Holger Rune been struggling, did really well here last year. We know what he's capable of, and that'll be a good match. If I had to pick right now, I'm tempted to say Heron Khachanov, but that's a tough one to pick. I have Khachanov in my draw coming through, but after seeing Rune and Dirty Dan today, I have some faith in him. And let's wrap up the bottom half of this draw. And hit the music because we're going to get out of here. The Demon comes through pretty easy with Alex Mickelson. Who would have thought it'd be that easy? Jamal Munar will be tougher on the clay, but I like Demon's chances to come through. I think he's going down to Struff. I expect Struff to come through here. I got him in my draw. I like Struff. I want him to win, but Bublik could pull it off for sure. So again, another fun match, potentially fun match to watch. It's always interesting with Bublik, and Struff has been playing very well. So I like Struff Demon Hour, and Struff beats Demon Hour in the third round is what I'm thinking. Busta, I shouldn't have picked that one. I picked Busta to come through, and you can see why in the first set. He's a very good player, and then he kind of ran out of gas, which should have been obvious. Coming off of a surgery, hasn't been putting in reps like he's used to at all. Medvedev is the bottom half of our draw here, and this is where we'll finish. I'm curious to see how Medvedev pulls out. He's had, think about how those late finishes he had at the Australian Open. He had kind of the worst luck with scheduling. And again, late into the night, cold temperature, humid conditions, having to bang the ball through really, really slow play, slow conditions like that. And he had a battle, sweating a ton. He said, he joked in French, actually. It's pretty, you must be a funny guy. Like Medvedev, he cracks me up all the time in English. He was speaking in French, and his French must be pretty good, or he just is a really funny guy, because he had the whole crowd laughing, and he's speaking in French the whole time. That's got to be challenging. Anyways, Medvedev, I'll be interested to see how he pulls up against Kecmanovic. That could be tough, but if he can get through there, I like his chances up until he gets to most likely the Demon, or more likely, I think, Jan Leonard Struffy Struff. Anyways, tomorrow is a travel day for me. I'll be back in the home state by the weekend, but probably won't be able to get a show up tomorrow. We will be back either Thursday or Friday, and definitely will have a show up on the weekends, probably Sunday. All right, we will be back. Enjoy the tennis, and watch out for AI, robot, Terminator umpires. See ya!